Jackie Martino Miller, and I am the CEO of Crispus Attucks Charter School. We're here today to celebrate the tremendous impact Crispus Attucks York has had over the past 91 years, thanks to a remarkable group of clients, partners, supporters, volunteers, and staff. It's great to see so many of these individuals here and also joining us from home. Thank you for empowering those in our community to learn, work, and thrive. At this time, we would like to recognize some people that are in the house. We'd first like to recognize any Crispus Attucks York Board of Directors. Would you please stand? Crispus Attucks Charter Board of Trustees also. And Dr. Gunther Smith.
Hey!
Representative Carol Hill Evans, and any other dignitaries that we may have in the room. Thank you for joining us today. Our theme for this year's event is Changing Lives, Changing Our Future. And today, we look forward to hearing from our incredible keynote speaker, Mrs. Grace Carte, CPA, and recognizing several individuals within the community with the Give Rise to Possible Award. Before we begin the program, we're going to open with a moment of silence to honor those no longer with us, gone but not forgotten. So let's do that, bow our heads at this time and do that. Thank you. At this time, will you please rise and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing. There is an insert in your program to help you sing this. This is one of the hardest songs ever to sing. to our board president, Mr. Bob Bosser.
Good afternoon, thank you. My name is Bob Bosser, and I'm the chair of the board of Crispus Addicts. And I want to welcome you all to our 92nd annual meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion from our board to accept the minutes from the February 9th, 2003 meeting. Do I have a motion? Jerry, thank you. Second, George. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to invite our CFO, Donna Williams, and our treasurer, George Dotzel. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon, and once again, RKL performed our audit this year, and we're pleased to announce that we had no findings or question caused, and we received an unqualified opinion. I want to thank the accounting department for helping me with this. This was a team effort, and also our finance committee and our treasurer, Dotzel. At this time, George is going to make a few comments about our financial statements.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone here. As Donna said, my name is George Dotzel, Treasurer and Chair of the Finance Committee. Members of the Finance Committee consist of John Eister, Tony Campisi, Ernie Waters, Donna Williams, Jackie Martinez, and myself. Finance Committee meets about 7-8 times a year. A special thank you to these committee members for their time and valuable input to Crispus Addicts. At your seat, you have an annual report inside there. You don't have to look at it now, but just a couple high-level comments on the financial statements you'll see inside there. There's a statement of financial position. Some people might call it a balance sheet. As of June 30th, 2022, it's near the back of the report. You'll see our cash position as of that date was $2.4 million, which is pretty much the same as the prior year. You'll see our total liabilities were $10.4 million. They came down $1 million from the year before, primarily due to paying down bank debt. And then finally, on that statement of financial position, you'll see something called net assets. That's your total assets minus your liabilities equal your net assets. That number, which some people will call equity, was $13.1 million. That's a good, strong equity number. And in fact, it was $200,000 higher than last year. So CA's financial position as of June 30th, 2022, continues to be very strong. The other statement in there, statement of activities, also known as the income statement. I'm happy to report total revenues exceeded expenses before depreciation by $980,000, almost $1 million. So another great accomplishment. And in closing, I would like to say these strong financial results were accomplished by a very dedicated CA management team who happened to accomplish these results despite very challenging economic times, as you all know, inflation, supply chain challenges. So kudos to the CA management team. Thank you.
Hello again and welcome. I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker, Ms. Grace Simpson Cote. I often brag about being her very first client 25 years ago. And at this point, I'm happy to say I'm still one of her clients after 25 years. Ms. Grace, thank you. Ms. Grace is a certified public accountant. She earned her MBA from the University of Baltimore, her BS in Business Administration and Accounting, also from the University of Baltimore. She has also done tax consulting for the past over 25 years with Smith Barney, am I right? Okay. And she has served as the compliance auditor for the state of Maryland She presently serves on the board of Your County Economic Alliance. And she's the treasurer. Correct. Okay. And also Memorial Health Fund, where she serves on the board, and also she's the treasurer. She serves on many local nonprofit boards, and at one time, Christmas Addict Charter School board. So at this time, I'd like for Ms. Grace to come forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bobby Simpson, for that introduction. And he's right, he's one of my first clients in York. And so is Paige, my partner here. I also want to thank the members of the Board of Directors and also thank the community for being here today. One of my partners, Paige Hines-Cheatham, is here with me today, and we will split our presentation. Our agenda today includes our accomplishments to date, the need and opportunity for a minority-owned financial institution in our community, and Paige will speak to that. Then I will speak about what makes us different from what we already have in York, and talk about the de novo process and our next steps. And then I will also talk about the role of Christmas Addicts in the York community in this whole process. Our progress to date. We've worked with paid banking consultants and have completed a feasibility study in our financial projections. We've had pre-filing meetings with the FDIC, the PA Department of Banking and Securities, and we've attended an FDIC Directors College through the invitation of a very successful community bank with about $1.2 billion in assets in Lancaster County. This bank has become an unofficial mentor to us. By Q3 2023, we would like to have the banking application process and business plan complete. We will begin our fundraising to cover pre-opening expenses then. Now I would like to introduce our team, starting off with Mr. Michael Jasper. He is our new CEO, and you will hear from Michael in a few minutes. Michael is traveling in Europe with his family and couldn't be here today. I'm Grace Corte, Simpson Corte, as Mr. Simpson said, one of the founders of the bank. Paige Cheatham, Hines Cheatham, and Mary Slope, also founders of the bank. Elliot Pearson, our senior technical advisor. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet Mr. Michael Jasper.
Good morning. My name is Michael Jasper. I'm the new CEO of the Minority Digital Bank that we are planning to launch in York, PA. I'm so sorry I can't be with you today. I'm traveling out of the country. But it was important to me that I give you some remarks so that you get to know who I am, as I'm sure we'll have lots of communications in the future. My career has spanned nearly 20 years, all of it in some form or fashion in finance. The last 15 years, approximately, have been at PNC Financial Services. One of the things that my career in banking has taught me is that a lot of large banks have not figured out how to adequately serve the unbanked, minority communities, and immigrant communities. This may not be intentional, but a lot of times, these banks do not have an adequate financial plan and business plan to address the community's needs. Education, trust, stereotypes, these are all things that make it difficult for us to fully access the financial services and get the best advice possible. This is where our bank will be different. The Digital Minority Bank will have education at its forefront. Financial literacy is one of the most important factors to achieving financial success. Also, we recognize that minority and underserved immigrant populations don't always equate to poor, which is often how these demographics are described in a larger community. We want to show that people in these communities can pool their funds together, can have a financial plan, can have retirement plan, budgeting, wealth management that will allow them to achieve financial independence and success. Today, you will hear a lot about our vision for this minority bank. I encourage you to ask questions. I encourage you to reach out to all of us with any follow-ups or anything you didn't understand. This will be your community bank. So it's important that your feedback is heard and addressed. Make no mistake, starting a bank is not easy. But with dedicated individuals who believe in this, as I do, we will get this done. And we look forward to having a time when we can trust a financial institution with our finances, with our financial education, with our kids' college planning, our retirement planning, where we can trust them that they have our best interests at heart and we are getting the best service possible. So again, I send my apologies for not being able to see you today in person. I look forward to meeting you and hopefully getting to address you sometime in the future. In the meantime, enjoy the presentation and please reach out with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now I will invite Paige to speak to you about the need for a minority digital bank and the opportunity it affords us.
Thank you, Grace, and thank you again, CA, for bringing us back to give you an update on what we have been up to since last year. We are super excited about the progress we've made so far. So in Q4 of 2021, as Grace mentioned, we paid for the completion of a very comprehensive feasibility study backed by data that proves not only the need for a minority digital bank, but also the opportunity this initiative will afford us. The feasibility study was instrumental in helping us make the decision to continue to move forward with this venture. I must admit that a lot of the information that we received from the study was very disheartening and quite frankly shocking. We found that there were unimaginable disparities in credit consideration. These are folks that are just being considered for a loan, let alone getting approved for these loans. The lack of financial inclusion for minority and low-income households in the United States is widely spread across every level of the financial system, including credit approval. We also found that a lack of access to financial services is not just a symptom of the racial wealth gap, it is also the root cause. Without the ability to affordably save, invest, and insure themselves against risks, many minority and low-income families struggle to translate the income they earn into wealth. Now, we talk about low-income communities, but this also rings true for the high net worth minority and immigrant professionals. There are a lot of people out here that make six figures and more in this community that we have been speaking of that don't have access to financial services, do not reap all of the benefits from financial institutions, and are basically mistreated. In fact, 56% of minority millionaires, and high net worth individuals have claimed that they were mistreated or discriminated against by major financial institutions. Therefore, there is a distrust of banks in these communities. A McKinsey and Company research study reported that there is a $330 billion wealth gap between Black and white families. Black households generally start with either no family wealth or very little, whereas 60% of wealth comes from inheritances for white families. So how do you compete? We compete by creating a bank that will set us apart and also take care of the unique needs of these communities. We have an opportunity to realize up to $2 billion in additional incremental revenue if Black Americans obtain access to the same financial products as white Americans. It's just that simple. I will turn it back over to Grace so she can further explain why this bank is different from the rest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paige. Now, what makes us different? There are approximately 22 banks, credit unions in York. We also have a nonprofit CDFI. A CDFI is basically a community development financial institution, and Community First Fund is one. And we have another in the early stages of formation. All this is good news for York. So why does a minority financial institution in York matter? There are many reasons why this matters greatly, and I will elaborate on 3 reasons. 1, our bank will take a holistic approach to our customers' financial well-being and financial literacy. We will offer incentive-based banking and encourage and educate our customers on how to utilize our products and services to their benefit. This means we are not only just going to take deposits and make loans, we will partner with other service organizations such as insurance agencies and discount brokerage firms for those clients who need such services. We hope to partner with YCDA, SCORE, and other volunteer charitable service organizations that offer professional pro bono services to low-income and minority entrepreneurs and business owners. Our goal is not to be exclusive, but rather to be deliberate in designing products and services that meet our target market's needs. In my private practice as a CPA, my client base includes multi-million-dollar businesses as well as those who struggle to stay afloat. I also work with hard-working micro-business owners who used credit cards to start their businesses, maxing these credit cards to keep their doors open. And we all know what happens when you max your credit limits. Credit card companies increase your interest rates, your credit score drops to levels where banks define you as high risk and will not lend to you. My clients who face these challenges pay their credit card bills regularly, but barely make a dent in what they owe. And they're stuck in low credit scores, which cascades into obstacles when purchasing a car or a home or even renting a home becomes challenging. 2, by providing distinctive services with cultural sensitivity, we will get to know our customers and go beyond their credit score to tailor products and services that meet their needs. Our feasibility study shows that there is a sizable market in New York the traditional banks are not reaching. An article in the July 2020 American Banker examines where traditional banking falls short and states why there's a need for better alternatives for the Black community. It also looks at why so many are underbanked in the first place. According to this article, a major factor is that many people in Black communities earn low wages, and the traditional banking system is not designed to help people who are living paycheck to paycheck, or people who have high volatility in earned income. The lending criteria of the local banks is primarily based on a 660 credit score. And this explains why there are over 20 check cash and payday loan facilities and approximately 10 rent-to-own stores in New York. These facilities charge high interest rates, which keeps the customer indebted to them for a longer time. Based on our study and personal experiences, we know that the unique needs of minority and low-income communities cannot be adequately met by existing banks. That is why it would be helpful for a minority financial institution to play a vital role in moving minority and low-income communities out of poverty and helping them build current and generational wealth. 3, building trust with our customers by helping them succeed. Our research tells us that there should be another market segment definition for the underbanked. The underbanked population is not just poor minority households. It also includes highly paid minority and immigrant professionals who have deposits in several banks because of lack of particular services or poor customer service. Having deposits or relationship with multiple banks results in failing to meet premier or platinum status of any one bank to take advantage of reduced fees, better interest rates, etc. I can personally relate to this. We use a particular bank solely for international money transfers, a service that is vital to our mission work in Ghana. But we have our funds in multiple bank accounts, in multiple banks, because while we've tried to consolidate our banking needs in one bank, when the personal banker who convinced us to choose their banker leaves, so does our service. And unfortunately, all my partners, except Mary, in this venture, and others in our social network have similar experiences. So how do we formally open a bank? This is a highly regulated process with specific criteria, and we've been working on this for a while. The pre-filing activities include engaging experienced attorneys, banking consultants, and experienced bankers to advise us on the process. The application process includes extensive background checks and organizers and founders by regulatory and law enforcement agencies. Now, the role of Christmas addicts in the community. I do not have to tell you that our world is changing. And so, that it is time to employ other business structures alongside nonprofit and charitable organizations to help shift the paradigm in economic development efforts. Our business model is different. We are a for-profit entity. We are a for-profit entity seeking community ownership. The ownership status gives us access to the boardroom, where decisions are made that affect service to our community. Ownership can be a foundation for financial dignity, a no judgment zone, where people get to learn how to build economic wealth and how to pass it on. We can help lift low-income households and minorities out of poverty by offering services tailored to these populations. We are not only asking for donations, grants, and contributions, we are seeking long-term financial partners who are willing to teach us how to fish in what I call the capitalist sea of economic opportunity. York is our nation's first capital. It is befitting that York becomes the headquarters of a groundbreaking minority digital bank that will lead the way towards a more prosperous economy for everyone. I've always believed that York is a proactive town with a lot of generous people. God knows our charitable organization has benefited many times from that generosity. I passionately believe in the wisdom behind my favorite African proverb, which is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with others. Which is why joining forces with CA and key community organizations and leaders will be a history-making community economic development project. This will be mutually beneficial to our overlapping missions to improve the lives and financial futures of many in our community. Join us as an organizer or founder on this quest to be part of a historical first in York, Pennsylvania, and make a lasting impact on our beloved community. Thank you for your time today, and have a productive week. Thank you.
If you have any questions for Ms. Grace after the program, she will hang around, right, Ms. Grace? This is a good part of the program. Each year, Christmas addicts select worthy and deserving candidates to receive our prestigious Community Service Award. This year, we have 5 very deserving recipients. These individuals are truly community servants. They never look for recognition or a pat on the back. Most times, they go unnoticed, not knowing or realizing the impact that they have in our community. I've asked Jackie and Don to help me present this year Give Rise to Possibility Award. Now, please note that our presenters are only able to highlight a few of the many reasons we have given these awards to these gentlemen. The first award is for Joe Ward. For years, I've watched Joe every day, weather permitting, sweeping Duke Street with his broom and his trash cans, and encouraging neighbors, new neighbors, to do the same. Joe has no problem knocking on neighbors' doors and telling them, please, turn the music down, it's too loud. Or that your yard needs cleaning. Joe tells them with pride, we have a quiet, clean neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way. So Joe, thank you for all that you do to keep our neighborhood clean. And for these reasons and many, many more, we honor you with our 2023 Give Rise to Service Award, Joe Waters.
Congratulations, Mayor of Duke Street. Our next award goes to Mr. Jeff Kirkland. Jeff has served as an unofficial repository of York's African American history for over 5 decades. He has given rise to the buried, disconnected, and unacknowledged contributions that African Americans have made while impacting York's history, particularly within the framework of York African American community. Jeff has proudly served the York community in many capacities over the years, including president of the York City School Board of Directors for 8 years and founding member of York's 1000 Black Man March. We are happy now to have him here with us as he returned to CA. He is currently employed as our career advisor in our Center of Employment and Training. For his tireless work and dedication to keeping our community's history and heritage alive, we are honored to present the 2023 Give Rise to Possible Award to Mr. Jeff Kirkland.
in 1968 at the Children's Home of York, helping young students there. And I knew at that time that I enjoyed that type of work. It not only fulfilled me as far as a working thing, but it also fulfilled my spirit. And I worked in different jobs over the years, but just to make things good to do. But they didn't reward my spirit like these jobs. And I was so happy, and I'm so thankful to Robert and God for leading me back here to Crispus Attucks. I worked at Crispus Attucks back in the 70s, and leading me back here to be able to work with those students there. I just happened to be dealing with some physical ailments at this time, but working with these students definitely lifts my spirit. And I want to thank Robert, the Crispus Attucks family, for welcoming and supporting what we do and all in this project. I knew Bob for years, since we were back in those days, and always looked up to him. He was a cool cat back in the days. Still is, still good. You know, he was a handsome guy. You know, he could fight. Good sportsman. You know, he had a lot going on for him. So also had to get the gab. So I want to thank him for that, for the opportunity to be back, what I call being back home, here to work with these students and all. And I thank you immensely for this honor. And also want to thank Grace down on a very articulate and informative argument for the needs and the purposes of a black bank here in New York. There's nothing like an idea whose time has come. And this is an idea certainly whose time has come at this point. So I'm hoping that we all get on board with that and push this to where it comes to fruition. So thank you again, thank God, and thank you all for your support.
Thank you, historian, or should I call you professor? Professor Kirkland? I'll call you Professor. Our next award goes to Mr. Gary Lauer. Gary has been involved with Crispus Attucks York for over 15 years and initiated our first program of inviting speakers to the Rising Stars Kids Cafe program that would demonstrate to the young people the value of a good education. Gary worked with both the speakers and the young people to create a program that teaches them that education is the key to success and that with hard work, all things are possible. For his long-standing and personal support for Crispus Attucks York and creating opportunities for Rising Stars youth to learn what's possible, we are honored to present the 2023 Give Rise to Possible Award to Mr. Gary Lauer. Gary's also a professional grit stirrer, just in case you want to know.
I really appreciate this, and I hate to correct Jackie, but I thought you said 50 years. You didn't say 15 years. Okay, that's better. My hearing is bad, kind of tells me all the time. But anyway, I've been fortunate to be involved in Crispus Attucks in some fashion for a long time. We got involved in trying to redevelop the Boundary Avenue project. It's a long story, but thoughts of putting a grocery store there in an underserved community. I knew nothing about Crispus Attucks at that point. But in coming here month after month for meetings, even after we decided the grocery store, I was so impressed with what Bobby, Jackie, and the whole staff at Crispus Attucks did. The dedication of the people that worked here and the volunteers, that I ended up asking Jackie how I could get involved with the youth. And so it's been my pleasure, and thank you very much.
The man of the hours in front of me, Mr. Chip Dalton. I actually asked Chip if we could turn this into a roast, and he said, be kind. So, you know, one of the things, during an average day, many of you may not know this, but we have 4 or 5 buildings. We have several hundred people in and out of our buildings. And every day we come in and the floors are shiny, the windows are clean, the trash cans are empty, and we don't really think about that. About the only time we think about it is, and I like to call this the wet hand award. You come out, you want to wash your hands, you need a paper towel, there are no paper towels. That's when we say, Chip, where are you? But anyway, we are so lucky at CA because we have a very small but very dedicated maintenance department. And you know, it's time that we honor some of these people that are really behind the scenes. And Chip has been with CA for over 20 years, and he does so much more than just keep our buildings clean and safe, but he's our unofficial photographer. If we need something, the first person we say is, let's call Chip. Now we may have to like try to figure out where he is because he's all over the place helping everybody, but he's like one of the go-to guys. So it's my honor today, Chip, on behalf of CA and the community, to present you the 2023 Give Rise to Possible Award.
Hey, I want to thank CA for letting me stay here 20 years. Bobby Simpson, thank you. But I also want to thank Miss Grace for taking on this project. You know, it's something that's needed in the Black community. And I want to leave with these words: to who you give your money to is who you give your power to. So, thanks a lot.
This next award, I am truly honored to present this award to a young man that I admire and respect, Brother Sharif. He was born and raised in York, graduated from York High in 1992. He's always been interested in history, spirituality. He converted to Islam in 1993. Am I correct? Okay. He received his bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2012, a master's degree in 2014 in counseling, and he's a licensed therapist. Brother Sharif moved back to York in 2018, and he has a very, very popular show on Access TV called The Hour of Power, where he interviews people in our community on various topics, ranging from history to education. He does not know it, but I'm one of his biggest fans. He was selected for this award this year because his program discussed the importance of family values, character building, and number one, do for yourself. And the most important part is the teaching of our youth and the education of our young people on this program. For these values are the ones that we teach our young kids at CA. Be responsible. Get out of the blame game and do for yourself. This is what this young man does on his program. If you take the time to watch channel, I think it's 16 now. No, it's educational for all of us to watch and learn. So for these reasons, my brother, and many, many more, I am honored to give you our Give Rise to Possible Award. Brother Sharif.
Peace and blessings. I'm not big into awards, but coming from Mr. Simpson, Phil, Drayden, and others who were responsible for this, I said I'll gladly take it. Just real quick on how the Hour of Power started. I was living in Durham, North Carolina since 2007, and around 2016, when, for those who use Facebook, they started using Facebook Live, where you can just get on there and say whatever you want to say, do a podcast, and a good friend of mine, I wish he was here, Ty Prince, me and his children and my children went to the same school in Durham, North Carolina, and he came to me and said, I've been seeing a couple of your messages on Facebook Live, you should start like a TV show or a podcast. I said, well, I'm not that tech savvy, how do you do that? He said, oh, I'll help you with it. So we got to talking, and he said, I said, well, what are we gonna call it? He said, well, you usually talk for about an hour, and it's powerful, so let's call it the Hour of Power. I said, okay. So around 2016, I started interviewing people there in Durham, North Carolina. 2018, I came back here to help take care of my mom, and I ran into a good brother, a lot of people may know him, Mike Dowry. They had a men's program where they were going to different schools reading to youth, and I bumped into him there, and I just got back to York, and he said, yeah, I've seen some of your podcasts there in North Carolina. You should start a TV show. This is Mike Dowry. I said, what TV show? He said, well, I know you've been gone for a while, because I've been gone for over 10 years. He said, I'll hook you up with Mr. Cliff, and he'll show you how to use it. He said, really should do it. I said, do you think people will listen to it? I can get kind of rowdy sometimes, quiet as I can be. And he said, nah, man, just tone it down a little bit. And I went to Cliff, he showed me how to use the technology. Then I contacted my friend Todd Prince back in North Carolina. I said, someone help me start a TV show. I think you should do it, because I think we should always seek counsel from wise people. It don't matter their age. You should always seek counsel with whatever, important decisions. And I said, do you think I should do that? Some of my talks are kind of controversial. And you always should give credit to those. I would be a liar if I would sit here and try to take credit for whatever people appreciate from my show. That wouldn't be correct. And I said, do you think I should do it? And he said, yeah. And he said, this is how you do it. He gave me the blueprint. He said, Facebook Live, that should be fire and brimstone. Whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, that's what Facebook Live is for. Use that. But the TV show that they're trying to set you up with, you make that about the community, then no one can shut you down. No one can't say that you're saying this or that. He said, fire and brimstone for Facebook Live, and then you don't say very little on the TV show, and you make it about the community, about the people. So June 14th, 2018, I started the show, and my wonderful brother, who I hope his son don't mind me saying, who I look at as a father, Brother John, was my first guest. I just interview people in the community that are doing great and wonderful things. I really love turnaround stories where people may have not, started out well, but now they're, making contributions to the community. Education, our history, spirituality comes on every Wednesday, 8 o'clock on Channel 16 and Facebook Live, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hamid. Again, congratulations to all the awardees. It is said, we rise by lifting others. That is so true. We rise by lifting others. If you look over at the wall over here, you'll see what our success story is. It's we, not I. We are one team. And I'd like to ask all of Crispus Attucks York staff to please stand. Now you know who you are, because you guys are standing pretty slow. You know who you are. But before you sit, I want to say this. We're led by a man who shows us what leadership, commitment, integrity looks like. We all feel valued and appreciated. So we thank you, Mr. Simpson, for that. And we also thank Mrs. Linda Simpson and your family for that, for sharing for sharing you with us for over 40 years. I'm not trying to age you. Thank you. And now, the moment that you've been waiting for, staff, moving forward with the Employee Service Recognition Awards. For 5 years, Ms. Maria Fuentes, Christmas Adams Charter School. Ms. Tracy Sutler, for 5 years, Christmas Adams Charter School. Mr. Kelly Summerford, for the Goodrich Center. For 10 years of service, Mr. Barry Freeland, Employment and Training. Mr. Willie Green, Crispus Attucks Charter School. Ms. Jeanette Santiago, Employment and Training. For 15 years, Mr. Tim Hoke, Crispus Attucks Charter School. For 20 years, you guys are getting old, man. Mr. Aaron Beard, Crispus Attucks Charter School. Ms. Marcia Scott, Crispus Attucks Charter School. And unfortunately, Robin, who has 25 years, was unable to join us today. But let me tell you what she said in our last board meeting. She said that she's enjoyed all 25 of those, and she's going to do 25 more. So congratulations, Robin.
I want to call Donna Williams and talk about our capital campaign.
Thank you. I have to give you something. It's really hard to believe, but it's been 2 years since Mr. Simpson stood here and told us about his dream of this new History and Culture Center. For those of us that have been working for the last few years, to be at where we are today is pretty exciting. We're pretty happy. A lot of meetings, a lot of people involved. We ask a lot of the community to support us, to give us your ideas, and to think where we are today is, as I said, we're very happy, we're very excited. We have a couple of slides. This is our current capital campaign. For about the last year, we formed a capital campaign to go out to the community and raise funds. Bob Bossert, our board chair, serves as chair of the capital campaign committee. Also, George Dotz, our treasurer, Tony Campese, John Kleinmans, Bernie Waters, Frank Countess, Frank is here, Larry Miller, Bob Bowen, Lisa Wagner-Glazer, Steve Stetler, and the Hodges and the Fullos are honorary chairs. So they've been working with us for about the last year. The goal of our project is $12.5 million. We have received RACP funds of $6 million. And for those of you that aren't familiar with RACP, we have to do a match. So we received $6 million from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, so we have to raise $6 million. We also have tasked our development team to help us raise $500,000 in various grants. So our campaign goal is $6 million. To date, we have raised $5.7 million. And just to give you a brief background, there have been 2 phases of the capital campaign. The first phase was the quiet phase, where we went out into the businesses and the foundations and asked them to support us and make pledges. So that started about 8-10 months ago. We are currently now in the public phase where we have been going out to the community and asking for this community support. As you can see, we are very close to our goal. And I think we will be over $5.8 million very soon. So we are very close to our goal. We are still in this public phase. We have a lot of calls out, and we're hoping to wrap them up very soon. So we feel very confident that we are going to reach and exceed our goal. And it's because of everybody's work. It's been a great team effort. So everybody that's helped and will help, thank you for all your support. And just to stay tuned, groundbreaking is going to start later in the summer, and the projected date of opening is January 2025. So when we stand here and talk to you next year, you're going to see pictures of a building being built. So that's going to be very exciting. So stay tuned for that. And now George is going to talk to you a little bit more about the campaign.
Thanks, Donna. Hello again. So, why should you give to the CA History and Culture Center capital campaign? Well, why should you give to it? For starters, CA has a 92-year history of changing lives and making the community a better place for all the residents that are here. I've been involved with Crispus Attucks for over 20 years, starting with two of our daughters who swam here in the pool that's below this gym 6 days a week for about 3 years. I was here almost every day for 3 years. I liked the place and wanted to get involved because everything I saw here impressed me. So I got involved with the charter school, got on the board of the finance committee, then joined the CA board. So I've been involved here for over 20 years. And based on that 20 years of experience with CA, I feel qualified to tell you why I think you should consider making a contribution and help us pass the word around the community. Maybe other people in the community will consider making a contribution. CA, from my perspective of 20 years of being here plus, is a huge community asset based on the many programs it conducts on its 4-square-block campus on the south side of the city. Programs including child care, early learning, after-school summer camp, employment and training for youth and adults, over 140 affordable low-income housing units, 140 residential units for low-income individuals and families. Community development, big community development that Crispus Attucks done here. I'm talking about Loretta Claiborne building, the Greenway Tech Center that we lease to mostly WellSpan, who brings many, many employees into the city of York. A charter school that functions at times better than our local city schools do, you know, for kids that are kind of left out. We take them in and we change their lives and they become very, very productive individuals. Senior center or active living center. CA takes great pride in its attractive inner city campus and programming. It's time to bring our diverse community closer together. The CA History and Culture Center is the vehicle that will help better educate and unite our community. We really need your help to achieve our capital campaign fundraising goals. I know CA makes an annual ask, you know, annual appeal. That's for our operating costs, you know. This capital campaign is a different one-time ask for funds for the $12.5 million project that you just heard Donna talk about. The last time we had this kind of ask was 18 years ago with the Early Learning Center. So this doesn't come up every year. So please, give us some serious consideration to donate and pass the word to the community, because we need your help to close that gap Donna was talking about 244,000, it's going to take, a lot of people making contributions. If you're interested, there's some contribution forms on the table there on the way out. Take them for you and your neighbors. Thank you very much for your consideration.
We have a very special announcement to make today. You heard us talk about, we've had 2 phases of the campaign. We had the quiet phase, and we had the public phase. And today, the senior staff, we're all together here, we are proud to kick off a new initiative today. And it's the Michael D. Jefferson tribute phase to raise funds to honor our friend and colleague. The senior staff of Christmas Addicts knows that Mike would have been a huge champion of the History and Culture Center. Since he is not physically here, the senior staff wants to step up and together raise funds to honor Mike by naming a room or an exhibit space at the new History and Culture Center in his honor. We reached out to Mrs. Shirley Jefferson and her family and the Black Ministers Association, and they are on board with this new initiative. So today, we are announcing that the senior staff of Christmas Addicts, with the support of the Jefferson family and the Black Ministers Association, have set a goal to raise $50,000 to name a room at the new History and Culture Center in honor of our dear friend and colleague, Mike Jefferson. Now my colleagues, the rest of the senior staff, is going to share with you some of our commitments.
Our first commitment is to raise 100% financial participation by the senior staff in this initiative.
We will be conducting various fundraisers over the next years and engage all CA York employees to participate and achieve 100% participation in this initiative. We're going to be working with Ms. Shirley Jefferson and family and the BMA to engage them to help raise this goal.
We will actively participate in the 2023 Give Local York event and commit all funds raised during this event to this initiative.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Barry said, Christmas Addicts York is participating in Give Local York again. It's managed by GiveGab. It's an online fundraising platform. 24 hours of giving, so you have from May 4th at 9 p.m. until May 5th at 9 p.m. Please reference your postcard that we have at your seat. There's various ways to give. An easy way is to take your phone. If you just put your camera on it, it'll take you right to the Give Local York page on our website. You can log in during the campaign, May 4th, and actually just navigate to Christmas Addicts York and give that way. We're one of hundreds of charities that are participating. You can make it online through the website the normal way, get involved, tab, and then there'll be various posts for Give Local York. There already is a save the date on the website, and from the donation page, you can go right to Give Local York. So we hope that you participate again, 9 p.m. May 4th to 9 p.m. May 5th, and thank you very much.
As we mentioned, our goal is $50,000 in total, and our goal is that we hope to raise $40,000 during Give Local York. Now, one of the ways that we hope to do this is get a few people to match funds. As an example, if you pledge 5,000 and ask for a match, and that would mean we have to raise 5,000 so we can come out with 10. We are trying to make this easy on people, and that's why Lori gave you a card to do Give Local York. Now, not everybody wants to do Give Local York. You know, some people don't like to use the computer. So as George said, we also have pledge cards. Any way you would like to participate, we are more than happy. And one of the things that we want to share with you, and we've shared this with our staff, no gift is too small. We want to honor Mike. We all worked with Mike for many years, and you know, this is something that comes from our heart. As you can tell, this is real personal to us, and we are committed to doing this. So we're asking you to help us achieve our goal. Either Give Local York, send us a check, stop by when we do fundraisers, and we're going to have a variety of fundraisers. Please participate. We want to do this for Mike. Mike was a friend, a colleague, longtime supporter of CA, and we are happy to do this for him. And thank you, everybody, for your support. And we will report the good news later this year. Thank you.
It's been a long day. My report is in your annual meeting. Make sure you read it. But at the same time, that booklet was done by our development committee. Stand up, Lori, but you and your group. Excellent job. Excellent job. At this time, I want to introduce our new board members. Miss Judy Ritter Dixon. Stand, please. Stand, Miss Judy. And welcome aboard. Thank you much. That's my report. Mr. Bowser has a special announcement.
I think that's a great thing that the staff is doing for Michael. Michael's participation and his love for Christmas Addicts will never be forgotten. He was truly a special individual. Right now, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the recipient of our Community Service Award, which is a surprise, but very well deserved. She's not only has a full-time job at CA as our CFO, she has also volunteered to serve as our full-time capital campaign coordinator, saving us a lot of money. She never complained about the extra responsibility or asked for any compensation. At this time, I'd like to call Donna Williams to the stand to receive the award. The Board of Directors of Christmas Addicts York would like to acknowledge Donna Williams for long-standing, tireless, and unselfish dedication to Christmas Addicts' mission, operations, service above and beyond her regular duties as Chief Financial Officer. Her reputation as a role model for following others.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jack?
It's been a great day, correct?
Yeah.
Don't make me have to say, I can't hear you, correct? Yeah. Thank you all for being with us today, for all that you do to help guide and support our mission. Please, after the program, we have refreshments that will be served back there. Introduce yourself to someone new today. Say hello to an old friend. And remember, Miss Grace and Miss Page are available for any questions that you may have. We thank you for your support. Be safe. Thank you.